Blitz.
Welcome back to the Friday Night Blitz conversation. Continuing with these two young men. You got Woodlawn next week. Mm-hmm. How do you prep for a team like Woodlawn?
Well, they have athletes all over the field, you know. It's one of those games where if you don't show up to play, they can beat you. Kind of like Booker
BT
T.
a couple weeks ago.
A couple weeks ago, you know, we didn't show up to play, and we were in a dogfight. So if we don't show up to play, we might go home with our tail tucked between our legs.
It's that BTW game. You know, you still won, but that was a reality check for you guys, right?
Absolutely. I mean, go ahead.
I think it was mentally, it was something we needed, just because after West Monroe, you get beat that bad, and then you go into
Those first 4 games were brutal.
Yeah. And then you go into Northwood, and then you handle them pretty well, and so you think, okay, you're doing pretty good. And then you face a team like BTW, they're looking to win. They're not just a team who's okay with losing. And you face them, and they hand it to you. I mean, it's a quick turnaround. I'm glad we handled it pretty well after the game.
Well, you got that taken care of. You got that win. That's all that matters. You got out of there with a W, and you got the reality check all in one. Well, the conversation with these two young men continues. We'll be right back. We're going to stay here. We're going to keep talking. How about that?
Let's do it.
I like it.
All right. Loyola the following week. I know you're not supposed to look ahead, but we saw the highlights. We saw that their quarterback is a really good football player. You know, I told you Coach Sella was in here a few weeks ago, and he talked about how good that offensive line is, and that's the strength of their team. Looking ahead to a team like Loyola, how do you prep for a team like that? We didn't know what to expect from them at the start of the year, moving up in divisions and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I would say that they're much improved, and they're very well coached. They're going to do what they're coached to do. They're going to know their assignments. They're going to come in with a game plan, but so are we, you know. And at the end of the day, I think it's going to come down to who executes better. And I think if we put the pressure on in practice, we bring energy in practice, and we practice executing in practice, then it'll just be like second nature in the game. And I think we'll come out on top, but we're going to have to play good to beat them because they have weapons all over the field, and they have a quarterback who's able to distribute the ball anywhere on the field.
Let's something I wanted to talk about. Forgot to talk to you guys about at this point. Coach Dunn was at win number 250 as a high school coach
250.
Last night. What's it mean having a guy that's had so much success? Like it feels like, I mean, hey, here's a guy who's won a bunch of state championships. Let's just listen to him.
Yeah.
Yep. And most coaches you see who 250 wins, like me and Luke were talking about, we never even knew that because he's not the type he's not going to boast about it. And that's just who Coach Dunn is. He brings experience to the team. He's been there. He's done that. He's been in those shoes before, and that helps. That brings so much more to the team than most people realize. And just having him with us, it's something special. And he turned the culture around in North Central.
It feels like he's not just doing that with you young guys. He's doing that with his coaching staff too.
Oh,
you know, I saw Mr. Coach Wilson is now a head coach.
Camacho.
That's right. Yeah. You know, he's now a head coach, and you know he's working with Coach James. We talked about him. We're going to talk about his golf game in a minute. What I'm hearing, he's a pretty good golfer. But it feels like he's doing that same thing. He's developing the coaches right along with developing the players.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. They meet every Sunday. They talk. They obviously evaluate film. They get a game plan together, but they do devotions as well. And that's one thing that really I feel like that he's so successful is because he puts God first in everything that he does. And you know, if you honor God, He'll honor you. And being humble, it says in the Bible, if you humble yourself under the mighty hand of God, then He will exalt you in due time. So, you know, he preaches to us every day. I mean, he's a preacher. That's what he does. And really one of the main things he tells us is be humble. And you're always the hunter. You're never the hunted. So that should be your mentality all the time.
It also feels like, not just with Coach Dunn, not just with the football program, but it feels like there's a culture of winning and success in the school. The wrestling program is amazing.
Yep.
Baseball's a good program.
Softball.
Softball's awesome.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to give my sisters the satisfaction.
Well, your
of me
sisters,
talking about that.
your sisters have been some pretty good softball players.
Hey, both of them.
Yeah, they're pretty good. All three of them. Yeah.
I was just say I covered EC,
Mm-hmm.
and then what's the youngest?
Allie.
Allie.
Yeah.
And then there was one older than EC, right?
Yeah, yeah. She played at Logansport, and then she won 2 junior college national championships at LSUE.
Oh,
Yeah, so
that's all.
they all have bragging
That's
rights
it.
on me, so I don't really like to talk about
You
it.
got you got to figure this out,
yeah,
man.
I know.
We got to get
I
ourselves a
know.
ring this year.
Yeah.
show it
I was
off.
gonna say all these state championships in the family, you got none yet.
I know.
So close though. You just got. A lot of people don't understand how tough it is to get to the Dome. You guys got down
yeah.
there a couple of years ago. Then you got a bullseye on your back last year.
Yeah.
Just how tough is that? Having that bullseye on your back after that season.
I think, like Luke said, I mean, we want to be the hunters. We don't want to be the hunted. It's almost as like you want people to beat you every game. And just last year, I feel like 2 years ago, my sophomore year, we came in, and yes, we wanted to go to the Dome. But I think that was the only thing on our mind. And so when we got there, we were a little amazed, a little shocked about the game and how everything went. And this year, I think it's going to be a little different. And we're going to go in with winning on our mind. That's the only thing you
All
can do.
think about.
Yep.
Well, that's all the time we have remaining in this portion of the Friday Night Blitz. But turn it over to KTAL NBC 6. We're going to go for another hour in about 6 minutes. We'll see you then.